Hey, you guys, happy Tuesday. Let's see, this is December 1st. This is Anything But Average, Achieving Success in Life. And I'm here by myself today on purpose. For anyone that's been paying attention or knows what we've been doing, every Tuesday at noon, I do an episode of Anything But Average. And the goal, of course, is to bring people on. Number one, I love hearing people's stories, and I love interviewing people, quite honestly, and hearing like, how are they successful? What are they doing? I love when they share some success tips, because I think in any industry, not just in real estate, in any industry, we all need to help each other. You know, the world has been like crazy as crap this year. And who knows what next year is going to be like, and the following and the following. So my belief is that the more we can help each other, the better. And when you're always seeking to do more and be more, it's just a hunger that you get when you get to actually talk to people and collaborate with people and learn from them. So you should always be in learner mode. And so today, it being December 1st, it's the last day, not last day, it's the first day of the last month of 2020, the weirdest, wackiest year ever. Let's hope we never have anything like this again. But when I think about it, so the last month, the month of November, which is a month of Thanksgiving, right? We have thankfulness. And so you're supposed to start every day in gratitude, they tell you. And I always do. I have a perfect morning, not perfect. I have my perfect morning routine. And so every day I do start, I'm thankful, that I woke up, I thank God for every day. And then I go through my thankfulness with Him. But what I wanted to do, and I did do in the month of November, was I committed to getting up every day, and I do a motivational post on Facebook every morning, because I think the more positivity we can inject into people's minds and souls, then the better off this place that we live in will be. And so what I did in the month of November was I committed to getting up every day and publicly expressing someone or something that I am thankful for, someone that's maybe made an impact in my life or the lives of my kids or something. And so, your first few posts like that are super easy, if you've got a family, of course, and if you've got people that you work with and you've got mentors and coaches and people so the first few, probably first 2 weeks were real easy. It was like, things were just coming to me like crazy. And then after the first 2 weeks, it was like, I got to think a little bit. And if you're in a hurry, it's not always easy to go deep and to think like, who really did make a difference in my life? And so every day I did do it. And every day, whoever or whatever I posted about that I was thankful for, that was 1000% true and genuine and sincere. And so for me, I learned a lot from it. For my own self, I taught myself a lot, honestly, to slow down and to be more thankful, more appreciative, because this world that we are in right now is crazy and it is chaotic. And now it's December 1st, and a lot of people really aren't in Christmas or it. And even myself, like normally we have a Christmas tree up. I always did it like the weekend of Thanksgiving. We didn't. We were out of town anyway. We were at the lake, and so we didn't. But even still, I didn't like have the desire to put a Christmas tree up. I still don't. But I have 3 kids, and one of them is Justin, my special boy, and he has Down syndrome and autism. He'll be 20 in 12 days, which he wasn't ever supposed to live past 4. And so for him, Christmas has to come every year. Santa comes every year and will forever. And so we can't just skip Christmas, and we can't just skip a Christmas tree, because it means a lot to Justin. And when I reflect like on that, on maybe I don't feel like putting up a Christmas tree, maybe I don't feel like going through all that motion. Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter what I feel like doing, because it matters to Justin. It matters a whole lot to Justin and to my other 2 kids. I'm sure they would like to see a tree and lights and the whole 9 yards, but especially for Justin. And so when I think about that, it's like so often in life, we get consumed with, I don't feel like it, or I'm just worried about how I feel. I don't care how it impacts others and how it affects others. And we got to get out of that mindset. And here's what I was thinking, and why I just chose to just come on by myself today, because we got to go to Lakewood over the weekend, and my oldest son, who just turned 23 in October, if you guys are not paying attention, he and I are now business partners together. We, because of COVID, have this amazing opportunity to have a baseball facility, not just a field, but a park. And so we've named it All American Baseball Park. We have our business is MVP Baseball Academy. And so my son is an amazing baseball player, coach, trainer, you name it, he's that. but he just turned 23. He's not a business developer. He doesn't know anything about this stuff. And neither did I at 23. And like most 23-year-olds don't. And so I didn't have that written into my goals for 2020 was to have a baseball facility or to be in business with my son. I had no idea that's what was going to happen to me, but it did. That was an opportunity. That was an opportunity that presented itself to me. And it's one of those things. It's been stressful. Oh yeah. It's cost money, 1000%. But at the end of the day, I'm his mom. And I do know how to run a business. I do know how to grow a business. I have built a independent brokerage. I'm building mega teams. So it's like, I'm quite aware of how to do this and how to do it successfully. But it is taking a lot of time or adding more time to my workday, my normal workday, which was already full. But you know what? I'm his mom. And what better person and what better role model to be than the mom? Hello, that's what we did. When we decided to have kids, we decided to be a good role model for them. When we decide to open a business, we do it to be a good role model for the people that work with us. So it's all about commitments. And so with my son, we're now in the slower part of baseball season, right? It's now December 1st. And so this is his first go around at this. We have tournaments that come to the fields. He rents the fields out. It's him. He's like a one-man operation. We've got grounds crew that help with the field, and we're in the field. The fields are completed, but we need the completion of the concession stand. We need lights still on the field. We need the bathrooms completed. We have porta potties right now, which aren't ideal, but you know what? They do function. You still can go in there and go to the bathroom. And we have batting cages being built. So, but the fields themselves, there are 4 of them. They're absolutely beautiful, 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 beautiful. But it has been a challenge this last, especially month for my son mentally. He's overwhelmed. The money's tighter right now because naturally we have a mortgage payment. And so the money's tighter to make that payment because, Thanksgiving came along, we've had rain. And so we've had rainouts and we've had things like that. And so Saturday, and even Friday, he was at the lake with us for Thanksgiving. And so he and I got to spend some good time just talking. I wasn't working on real estate. I was there to focus on him. And we got to talking about him being overwhelmed and how could I help him? And once I heard him and heard his frustrations and really listened to him, then I had to dig deep into myself because I raised my hand and I said, I'll be your partner, son, and I will help you. I always call him my son. So it's like, I said I would do this. And so what kind of a person am I and mom if I said I would do this and then I don't? And so he was at the point during Thanksgiving that he was like, I want to give the fields back. I don't want them. And it's like, okay, no, that's not an option. That would be called quitting. We don't quit. We as business owners, we don't quit. And so I was telling him Saturday, I was explaining to him what an amazing opportunity he has that at 23 years old, he literally, if he does this correctly, and we will, by the time he's 30, he could have this baseball empire. I mean, and then he's got so many years left ahead of him to grow that and build that. And how I wish at 23, somebody would have said, hey, I see potential in you and I want to do this with you and I'm going to stand beside you and I'm going to stand behind you and I'm going to be there for you. I didn't have that. I still don't have that. I still, running this real estate company that I run, I still am seeking that person to stand beside me. I have, of course, an amazing group of agents that work with me, love them, all of them, and they do stand beside me, but I don't have that like partner. I never have. And in a lot of companies you see, two peanut butter and jelly, basically like working together. And so for my son, he doesn't have that either outside of me because a lot of his friends, they're playing baseball still in college. They are gone off to work somewhere else. They're not at this opportunity that he is. And most 23-year-olds aren't. And so he was feeling really down. And my son, for people that know him, they know he's a leader 100%. He is always leading people. But he's not always coachable, as a lot of people aren't. And so, especially when it's coming from your mom, right? Because I'm still mom. I'm your business partner, but I'm still mom. And so he hasn't been able to go to church with us in a while because running a baseball facility, you're working on the weekends. There's games. They start at 8 a.m. and they run until 6 p.m. till dark. And so he's on the fields. And so he hasn't been able to go to church with us. So he's been a little bit disconnected. Well, this weekend, It was Thanksgiving weekend. We had no tournaments booked. And so I was like, hey, you can go to Lakewood with me on Sunday. And he said, okay, I'll go. So we go to Lakewood on Sunday. Now, keep in mind, Saturday he was frustrated, and we had long conversations about how he wants to quit. And I'm just constantly building him up. I'm like, oh, no, you're not quitting on my watch. And so we go to Lakewood Sunday, and the sermon, to sum it up for you, Joel wasn't speaking. It was another pastor, and shame on me for not remembering his name, but I'm terrible about remembering people's names. I don't remember his name, but the sermon was about focus. And he basically summed up, and he was talking about the year 2020, how it's coming to the end of the year. And so many people reflect on their past year during December, which I do too. What were their blessings? What were the things they wish they wouldn't have done? What are things they're going to do differently for 2021? And how has God brought things, opportunities into their lives that is favor, God's favor? And so he was saying, because of the pandemic, yes, there's been a lot of people that have lost their lives. Yes, there's been a lot of business owners that have went out of business. Yes, there's been a lot of heartache, and there still is. That's unknown. But there's also been a lot of blessings. And unfortunately, so many people, they overlook that. They don't realize and they don't recognize the opportunities and the blessings that are placed in their lives. They don't recognize that it's God's gift to them. It's like, okay, here, you asked for something, I'm giving it to you. Because oftentimes when you pray or you ask him, God, for something, you expect to get it like at your time. But that's not how it works. It comes at his time. He knows the right time for you. And so he was saying that what ends up happening is people this year in 2020, a lot of people, and they were putting up testimony after testimony after testimony of people who have seen just this enormous favor on their life from God, things that would have never happened if it wouldn't have been because of COVID. And as he was talking, I'm looking at my son and I'm like, pointing to him because I'm thinking, son, a year ago, he was playing college ball, and he got cut from the college team right at Thanksgiving 2019. And the reason he got cut, he was like one of their best players. The reason he got cut was he had an altercation with another player. That player turned out to be like the coach's pet. And so naturally my son got cut. And when my son got cut, at that point in the season, the college teams had already picked, they'd already had tryouts, they'd already picked who was going to be starting the season. And so to cut my son, number one, at that point of the season was crappy because he had no opportunity, we didn't think, to go into another school and get on another team. So basically he was going to miss that entire year of school of playing baseball. And so he was pretty devastated. He loves baseball. So comes home from college. And I'm like, okay, we got to come up with a plan B. Well, to wrap it all up for you guys, his plan B was he's been running a college league every summer for the last 3 years. And so he was like, I'm just going to start running my college league. Well, in the midst of forming that again, to launch that, he got an offer to go play independent pro ball. And he was going to leave May 1st to California to go play pro ball, which was a dream come true for him. And so it was all set. So it kind of put plan B on the back burner. Well, then COVID comes along in March, right? And as you all know, MLB got pushed back. And so then they called him and they're like, okay, you're not leaving May 1st. Maybe it's going to be June 1st. And then as you all know, MLB kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed. And now it's like, okay, crap. By then it was almost May. I think it was around May 1st. And I told my son, I'm like, okay, we can't just keep waiting. You have to make something happen because you're just doing nothing at this point. We're not going to be dictated to by this. Let's put plan B into effect. Let's go find a baseball field and let's rent it. That way you can rent the field, because at that time, even it was, again, blessing in disguise. He had been cut from the college baseball team. Well, because of COVID, none of the colleges played baseball. The whole programs got cut. So no one was playing baseball last spring. And so we were out looking for a baseball field to rent. He was. And lo and behold, we stumbled across not just a field, but a park. Make a long story short, financially, we are making it work, buying it, not renting it. And so that would not have happened when you go back and look if he wouldn't have gotten cut from the baseball team, then if COVID wouldn't have come along. So when I look at blessings and opportunities for my son, I'm telling him this was in God's plan for you. This is God's will for you. This is an opportunity. You need to recognize this opportunity. Stop taking it for granted and stop trying to quit. Because let me tell you something, at the ripe old age of 23, there are not very many times you get this kind of golden opportunity to be all that you can be in your life and doing something that you absolutely love, that you can get up every day and have the fire within you to do. And so during that sermon, the pastor, that's what he talked about. He was like, the focus, realizing and recognizing your opportunities that came about this year because of perhaps COVID, or perhaps something that happened because of COVID, and then recognizing that and your fire. So what ends up happening, like for my son, because he got overwhelmed in the last month especially, and he was getting frustrated, his fire was burning out. He was losing focus, not because he doesn't love baseball, not because he doesn't want to build this park, but because he was being overwhelmed. He was feeling anxious. He was feeling like it was too much. He was wanting to quit. And when you feel like that, and you feel like these overwhelming sensations of that, your first thing you want to do is just stop, let your foot off the gas, stop pushing, stop grinding. It's easier to quit. It's easier in anything to quit, not in running a business and in marriage and life in general. That's the easy way out, is to quit. But that's not what we're supposed to do. And so Sunday's sermon was about making sure that you stay focused on the blessings that you've gotten this year and the good things in your life, staying focused on what makes you happy. And when you stay focused on what makes you happy, it ignites this fire within your passion. And when you find that, you need to guard that with everything, because when things overwhelm you and overtake you, that fire can get smothered and it can start to go out. And once your fire goes out, you feel like it's just you just exist. And so my son, when we came out of that sermon, he recognized it and he heard it. And then when I was reading a book yesterday, it was like all of a sudden all these things about focus are being put in front of me. And the chapter that I was reading yesterday in the book I was reading talked about focus. And it talked about one of the many reasons for successful entrepreneurs is they stay focused. Their ability to focus on what matters, focus on doing the right things in the right order. And so when I got done reading, naturally I went to my son and I'm like, holy crap. Okay, remember that sermon we heard yesterday, and it was all about focus and staying focused and being grateful and recognizing your opportunities. I read today about how one of your main things you need to stay making sure you are is staying focused on your business, staying focused on what matters, staying focused on gratitude, staying focused on your opportunities. And so today, and I'm trying not to be the nagging mom, and anyone that knows me knows I'm not a nag, and I hate micromanaging anybody in work or at home, but I'm having to be uncomfortable with my son because I'm his partner. And so today I will let you know that there was a new fire in him this morning on his own, a new passion. He was telling me today, Mom, I'm going to start running this place more like a business. I'm putting them on a schedule. I'm doing this. And he just starts spitting the stuff out. And I was like, good. And he was smiling, and there I could hear the energy in him again, and I could hear the hope, and I could hear the gratitude, and I could hear I'm going to make this happen in him. And so my message to you all today on this December 1st is, whatever you're going through in your life, we're at the tail end of 2020. Hallelujah for that. We don't know what 2021 is going to bring. I believe it's going to bring abundance. I believe it's going to bring vibrant flowers, and I believe that we're going to do great and amazing things. However, reality is there's going to be people that will be hurt. There's going to be people that will go out of business. And I think that we as people need to make sure that we're doing the right thing to help others live an abundant life. This month, this is Jesus's birthday. And this is when we're supposed to be there to help others and to give hope, and it's better to, give than receive. And so I would challenge you all, business owners, parents, whatever you are, I would challenge you all to give. See who you can give to. There's a lot of people that won't have a Christmas. There's a lot of people that don't have a Christmas tree. There's a lot of people that don't have a job. There's a lot of people that don't have anything. And so my challenge for all of you guys is to be the giver. Stop always worrying about, what about me? What about me? What about me? And worry about those out there that are hurting. Worry about those out there that are in need, and be the one that can give to them and be the one that can help them. And so I'm going to focus this month on hope and giving and being there to help and encourage others. And I will leave the next, Tuesdays at 12 o'clock is when this podcast runs. And I want to put people on here who want to talk about hope and who want to talk about ways of giving back and helping others. So if you want to be a guest here, definitely reach out to me, triciaturner.work, and I will get you on the calendar, and let's get you here. Let's talk about how we can make a difference in this world. So that's my message for you guys this December 1st. Focus on hope for the rest of this year. Focus on growth. Focus about helping others and being a giver rather than a taker. And y'all have a great day. Remember, you are anything but average. Bye.